So we'll start after a couple of minutes. You're waiting for some other people to join. Okay, so I guess we can start now. I hope I am loud and clear. You are able to hear me? Are you able to hear me, P. Horibabu? I'll share my screen. I don't know. I mean, your voice is not coming. Okay. My screen is visible, I guess. If you don't want to say something, I'll lower your hand. Okay, it is not. Okay, no issues. So we'll continue. So are you welcome in the seventh weekly live interactive session of NPTEL course code AR18. The course title is Urban Utilities Planning, Water Supply, Sanitation and Drainage. Course instructor is Dr. Devapratim Pandit, who is a professor of IIT Kharagpur at the Department of Architecture and Regional Planning. I am your facilitator. My name is Shutanu Sadhukan. I am a PhD student at IIT Bombay and your teaching assistant for this course. Now, where are we? We have completed 50% of all the sessions. We are the seventh week currently. Today is 8th September. Okay, so we'll start with our session today. So, our today's first question is an MCQ. So, the question is as follows: combined sewage refers to which one of the followings? Option A is sewage recently originated. Option B is sewage undergoing treatments. Option C is combination of sewage and storm water. And option D is residential discharge from latrines and urinals. You have to type your answer in the chat box. I'll wait for a couple of minutes. Please type your answer. That is the correct option in the chat box. Are you not able to hear me or something? Still, I will wait and I'll provide the answer after 1 minute or so. Okay, so we'll proceed with the answer. First is the explanation. Fresh sewage refers to the sewage that is recently originated. Combined sewage refers to the combination of sewage and storm water. And sallage indicates the wastewater from bathrooms and kitchens. So I hope I have discussed what that storm water is and what is the difference between the rainwater and the storm water. So hopefully it is clear. So the answer is option C. Combination of sewage and storm water is the correct answer, correct option. Okay, so we'll proceed to our next MCQ. The question is palatable water is tasteful for drinking and dash. You have to fill in the blank. Option A is aesthetically pure. Option B is polluted. Option C is unfit for treatments. And option D is wholesome. I'll wait for a couple of minutes. Type the answer in the chat box, please. Just type in the correct option. It is A, B, C, or D. That's all. Are you not able or what? Are you attending that? Your hand is raised. You're not. I can lower your hand also. Please lower your hand if you don't want to say something. Okay, so I'll proceed with the answer. The answer is option A, aesthetically pure. So palatable water is tasteful for drinking and it is aesthetically pure. Okay, so our next MCQ is the underground conduits and drains, those carry the sewage are called dash. So you have to fill in the blank with the following options. Any one of the following options. Option A is silage. Option B is sewers. Option C is sanitation. And option D is vent pipes. I'll wait for a couple of minutes. Please key in the correct option in the chat box. Okay, I'll proceed with the answer. So the correct answer is the sewers. The underground conduits and drains, those carry the sewage are called the sewers. Okay. What are the vent pipes? Vent pipes are those pipes which are used to release the excess amount of air or gas that may get accumulated within any pipe. Those are called as the vent pipes, which are used for the gas release or excess air pressure release. Okay. So I'll proceed with the next MCQ. Colloidal impurities in water are of the size of dash millimeter. You have to fill in the blank. The options are option A is 0 to 10 to the power minus 3 millimeter. Option B is 0 to 3 millimeter. Option C is 10 to the minus 3 to 10 to the minus 6 millimeter. And option D is 3 to 10 to the minus 3 millimeter. Please type in the correct answer in the chat box. A, B, C, or D. Which one is the correct option? Otherwise, I'll proceed with the answer after 1 minute. So I'll proceed with the answer. This question actually basically was discussed in the very first day, as far as I remember, or maybe in the second class. So I told you what is the range of colloidal or suspended particles within any type of fluid. What is their range? Any type of liquid. So what is their range? Their range basically lies within 10 to the power minus 5 to 10 to the power minus 7 meters. If it is smaller than 10 to the power minus 7 meters, then it is completely dissolved. The smaller particles of the solid basically enters into the intermolecular space of water molecules, and they are not visible. Now, if the particle size is more than 10 to the power minus 5 meter, then they basically are precipitated. They are not in a homogeneous suspension or colloidal situation. So now 10 to the power minus 5 to 10 to the power minus 7 meters, this range resembles with which one of the following options? That is the answer. So 10 to the power minus 5 to 10 to the power minus 7 meter means that many meter into 1000 millimeter. So if you multiply 10 to the minus 5 and 10 to the minus 7 with 10 to the power 3, that becomes 10 to the power minus 2 to 10 to the power minus 4, right? Yeah. So the or 10 to the minus 3 to 10 to the minus 4, like that. And that particular range resembles mostly with the option C. So because 10 to the minus 4 lies between 10 to the minus 3 and 10 to the minus 6, right? So that's why option C is the correct answer. Hope it is clear. Now we'll proceed with our next question, where you have to match the following types of protocols under Swachh Bharat mission with their appropriate descriptions. So in the left hand column, the types of protocols under SBM is provided. Option A is ODF, option B is ODF plus, and option C is ODF plus plus. Now their appropriate descriptions are provided in the right hand column. Number one is fecal sludge or septage and sewage is safely managed and treated with no discharging and or dumping of untreated fecal sludge or septage and sewage in drains, water bodies, or open areas. Number two is not a single person is found defecating in the open during any time in a day. And option three is not a single person is found defecating and or urinating in the open during any time in a day, and all community and public toilets are functional and well maintained. So you have to link the left hand column and the right hand column. Assume the order of the left hand column to remain the same, that is A, B and C. In this way you just write the order of the right hand column, that is the descriptions. uh, I mean, what is the order of this 1, 2, and 3? You can just type that one in the chat box. I'll wait for a couple of minutes. Just read the question again and key in your answer. Fecal sludge or septage and sewage is safely managed and treated with no discharging and or dumping of untreated fecal sludge or septage and sewage in drains, water bodies, or open areas. This is the option one. It goes with what? ODF, ODF plus or ODF plus plus. Okay, you are not yet able to answer. Uh, we'll proceed with the correct answer. So this ODF terminology, what it means, the full form of ODF, it is open defecation free. So the correct answer will be as follows. Okay. So the ODF goes with the option 2, that is not a single person is found defecating in the open during any time in a day. ODF plus goes with the option 3, that is not a single person is found defecating and or urinating in the open during any time in a day, and all community and public toilets are functional and well maintained. And ODF double plus goes with the option 1, that is fecal sludge or septage and sewage is safely managed and treated with no discharging and or dumping of untreated fecal sludge or septage and sewage in drains, water bodies, or open areas. So 2, 3, 1. This is the correct order of the right hand side or right hand column. Okay. Now we'll proceed with our next question, which is again a column matching. How you have to match the types of aerators with the appropriate description. Uh, so the types of aerators are provided in the left-hand column with option P, Q, and R, and their appropriate descriptions are provided in the right-hand column 1, 2, or 3. So the aerator types are spray aerator, diffusion aerator, and cascade aerator. And the description are option 1 is water passes over steps, option 2 is mists and or droplets, and option 3 is compressed air is used. You can keep the order of the left hand column, that is PQR, same. In this way you can tell me the correct order of the right hand column, and please type that in the chat box. We'll wait for a couple of minutes maybe again. You're not able to you're not able to answer yet. Okay, we'll proceed with the answer. So the answer is 231. That means spray aerator. Uh, it generates mists and or droplets. Diffused aerators is something where compressed air is used for the purpose of aeration, and cascade aerator is something where water passes over the steps. The purpose of all the aerators is to mix the ambient air with the water to increase the amount of dissolved air in the water, or especially basically the oxygen, where the aerobic bacteria will use that oxygen to treat the water, that is to break down the amount of break down and decrease the amount of pollutant particles, those are present inside the water. This is the purpose of aeration. Okay. Now we'll proceed with our next question. It is again an column matching, where you have to match the impurities with the processes used to remove them. So in the left hand column, the options are PQR, that is colloidal impurities, suspended impurities, and dissolved impurities. And in the right hand column, their processes to remove are option 1, 2, and 3. Those are sedimentation, evaporation, and coagulation. Again, I'll wait for a couple of minutes. Kindly type your answer in the chat box. You can keep the left hand column same, this one as P, Q, and R, and in this way you can change the order of the right hand column. So tell me the correct order of this 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we'll proceed with the answer. So first there is the explanation. Where water containing pathogenic organisms is called as contaminated water. It has three types of impurities, namely suspended, colloidal, and dissolved. So the suspended impurities, those are large enough, are removed by filtration. Heavier ones settle down and can be removed by sedimentation. Colloidal impurities can't be removed by ordinary filters. Chemical coagulation is the most common process in order to remove these. So these colloidal impurities range between that 10 to the minus 5 to 10 to the minus 7 meters, and which are smaller than those. Those are the dissolved impurities. Those are solids, liquids, and gases. and they are dissolved in natural water when it flows. These dissolved impurities, the smallest ones, can be removed by evaporation. This one is the most difficult to remove, and the process is the most energy intensive process. The evaporation is the most energy intensive process as compared to the other process. Those are the sedimentation and chemical coagulation. Okay. So now you should tell the answer. Still not able. Okay, I'll tell. So the correct answer goes something like this. Option P keyword mean, and the right hand side is with respect to that P keyword, it is 3, 2, 3, 1, and 2. So colloidal impurities are removed with the help of coagulation, suspended impurities are removed with the help of sedimentation, and dissolved impurities are removed with the help of evaporation. Okay. So now we will proceed with our next question, that is an MCQ. What is the design period in years given by CPHEEO for the non-conventional sewers such as small bore, shallow sewers, pressure sewers, vacuum sewers, etc.? The options are: option A is 5, option B 10, option C is 15, option D is 20. What is the design period in years for the non-conventional sewers such as small bore, shallow sewers, pressure sewers, and vacuum sewers? I'll wait for 1 minute. Please type your answer in the chat box. Okay, so we'll proceed with the answer. First, the explanation. So, what is the full form of CPHWO? It is nothing but Central Public Health and Environmental Engineering Organization. As per their prescriptions, the design period for the non-conventional sewers will be option C, that is 15 years. Now, our next MCQ. The temporary hardness of water is due to dash and can be removed by boiling. You have to fill in the blank. With option A is nitrates, option B is chlorides, option C is carbonates, and option D is sulfates. Kindly key in the correct answer in the chat box. You are not able to answer again. Uh, we'll proceed with the answer. So it is the carbonates. We have multiple times discussed that the hardness of the water is caused by bivalent. The cation portion of those salts will be bivalent ions, just like calcium carbonate or magnesium carbonates, or calcium sulfates or magnesium sulfates, or it may be nitrates, chlorides also. But all the other types of anions, they caused permanent hardness in the water. But if we use carbonates, like calcium carbonate or magnesium carbonate, what will happen? That if we boil the water, the carbon dioxide part will get separated from the salts and they will go away, and calcium oxide or magnesium oxide, they will precipitate. So the temporary hardness of the water, those are caused by the carbonates of calcium or magnesium ion. They can carbonate salts of calcium or magnesium ion, they can be removed by boiling. So intensive hardness removal processes like nanofiltration membrane or ion exchange processes like cation ion exchange beds or mixed beds, using of them are not very required when the hardness that is present in the water are temporary in nature. Now we'll proceed with our next MCQ. Which one among the following is not a function of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India? Option A is formulation of politics and providing technical assistance to the states. Option B is acting as an intermediary to direct block loans and grants distributed as plan assistance to the states. Option C is sponsoring fully or partially many programs within the state list, such as water supply and sanitation. And option D is responsible for the programs of capacity building and micro level management of people on behalf of the government. This is also an MCQ. Please type the correct option in the chat box. So the detailed explanation is as follows. NGOs or non-government organizations are responsible for the programs under capacity building and micro level management of people on behalf of the government. So they receive grant money from the government. Okay. So option D is the correct answer. Responsible for the programs of capacity building and micro level management of people on behalf of the government. Because NGOs do those jobs, the MOHUA is not responsible. So MOHUA under the government of India is responsible for other three options: formulation of politics, acting as intermediary, and sponsoring many programs within the state list. The option D is job is done by the NGOs for which they are paid by the government. Now our next MCQ is chlorine or Cl2 is usually found in water due to disinfection of water using what? Option A sodium chloride, option B saline water, option C chlorine, and option D chlorides. If you want to say something, you can unmute yourself and tell. Okay. So the correct answer is chlorine. If you use chlorine, you will find chlorine in the excess chlorine in the water, but because chlorine's lifetime is not very short, it is a long lifetime of presence in the water, and that's all. And it doesn't get converted into something else like sodium chloride or chlorides. It remains in the chlorine form. Okay, in natural condition. So the temperature pressure condition is not suitable for chlorine to get converted into other compounds at present condition, at a normal condition of the water. So the reaction takes place in a different condition. Okay, in under normal condition, that is the ambient condition, chlorine remains in chlorine form only if we use it for disinfection purpose in water. Now our next MSQ, that is the multiple select question. More than one option may be correct, may or may not be correct. So which one of the following statement is or are true concerning the city sanitation plan or CSP? Option A is it considers only medium term sewage project plans. Option B is it suggests for water scarce decentralized sewerage system. Option C, it does not involve O&M, that is operation and maintenance and service delivery systems. Option D is it involves capacity building. Which one or other of the following options are related with CSP, that is city sanitation plan? Just read the options again and type the correct answer in the chat box. Today we won't be taking any break. We'll just continue. So the correct uh, answer is as follows. So the explanation is city sanitation plan or CSP is prepared considering optimum mix of three types of sewerage projects such as short, medium and or long-term plans. It involves O&M, that is operation and maintenance, and service delivery systems. Hence, option B and D are the correct answers. So the city sanitation plan suggests for a water scarce decentralized sewerage system, and it involves capacity building, but it does not involve OM and service delivery systems, and uh, I mean it involves basically also O&M and service delivery systems, and it does not consider only the medium term sewerage project plans. It also considers the short and long term plans. Okay, so option B and D are the correct options. Now, next MSQ, that is the multiple select question, is which of the following is or are additional treatments performed in water treatment plants based on the unique characteristics of water with respect to the location? Option P is fluoridation, option Q segregation, option R is distillation, and option A is activated carbon. Which one among or which of the below are additional treatment performed in water treatment plants based on the unique characteristics of water, WRT, the location? Okay. Again, you are raising hand. You want to say something? Go ahead. Your voice is not coming. Okay. So we will proceed with our answer. Another option was there, that is incineration. Let's see. So the explanation is as follows. Other treatments, those can be performed on the water, are water softening, fluoridation or fluoridations, active carbon, and distillation. It will be active carbon adsorption basically. Segregation and incinerations are the terms used in the solid waste management. So incineration and segregation, these two are not the correct options. Option P, R and S, those are the fluoridation, distillation, and activated carbon are the correct options. So if you are speaking P Horibabu and you have muted maybe, so you can unmute yourself and then speak if you want to say something, or if you have any doubt regarding any previous classes or so. So hopefully you have watched the recording of all the previous classes, right? With that assumption, we will proceed with our next MCQ. So in the disinfection of water, that is chlorine, in the disinfection of water, chlorine demand is the difference between dash and remaining chlorine in water after a specific period of time. You have to fill in the blank with the options are option A chloramine, option B reacted, option C utilized, and option D is added. So what is the chlorine demand? What is the definition of the chlorine demand in the process of water disinfection? It is the difference between remaining chlorine of water, which is to be subtracted from what? Which one of the following? After a specific period of time, whether it is chloramine, whether it is to be subtracted from the reacted chlorine, the utilized or added one. Which one will be the correct option? Please type it in the chat box if you are attending. I'll wait. Okay, so we'll proceed with the answer. The explanation is chlorine demand is determined by the difference in between added and remaining chlorine in water after a specific period of time. Hence, the correct answer is option D, added. The chlorine demand is defined as the difference between the added chlorine and the remaining chlorine in the water after a specific period of time. Next MCQ, which one of the following instruments helps in detecting the water color? Option A is turbidimeter, option B thermometer, option C conductivity meter, and option D is photometer. Okay, so we'll proceed with the answer. So it is photometer. Photometer is the one instrument that is used for detecting water color. Now next MCQ is activated carbon is used to remove dash in the public water works. To fill in the blanks, activated carbon, mainly the activated carbon adsorption technique is used to remove color, taste and odor, fluoride or hardness. Which one of them is removed by using activated carbon in public water works? Okay, so we'll proceed with our answer. The explanation is activated carbon is widely used to remove taste and color and odor in the public water works. So taste and odor is the correct option. Color is not. Sorry. So option B is the correct answer. Now our next MCQ is, sorry, it is one column matching. How you have to match the following surface level indicators of wastewater management with their extent of coverage or benchmarks. In the left hand column, the service level indicators under wastewater management are given. Option A is collection efficiencies of the sewage network. Option B is extent of reuse and or recycling of the sewage. Option C is efficiency in the redressal of the customer complaints. And option D is efficiency in the collection of the sewage charges. And their respective percentage benchmarks are given in the right hand column. Number 1 is 20, number 2 is 80, number 3 is 90, and number 4 is 100. The 20, 80, 90, and 100 are not in the correct order. You have to rearrange it in order to match them with their respective service level indicators, which are provided at the left hand column. So you can keep the order ABCD as same and type the correct order of 1, 2, 3, 4 in the chat box. That is the right hand column. Those are benchmarks in percentage or extent of coverage in percentage. Okay. Okay, nobody is able to answer. Whether you are attending or not. Okay, so we'll proceed with the answer. The correct answer is 4123. So collection efficiencies of the sewage networks must be 100% under wastewater management. Extent of reuse and or recycling of the sewage must be at least 20%. Efficiency in the redressal of the customer complaints should be at least 80%. And efficiency in the collection of the sewage charge must be 90%. Okay. Now next we will solve a problem which is as follows. A river identified to be used as a source for water supply to a city having daily water demand as 500 MLD, that is megaliters per day, has a minimum dry weather flow of 57.5 meter cube per second. A minimum of 50 meter cube per second flow should be maintained in the downstream of the river throughout the year as e-flow, and groundwater is may be used for any additional water requirement if needed. Based on the information, answer the following. Number one is permissible, that is maximum water withdrawal from the river in megaliters per day. Number two is additional water required to be sourced from groundwater in megaliters per day. Hint is 1 MLD, that is mega or million liters per day, equals to 10 to the power 6 liters, which is 1000 meter cube. And number two hint is acceptable range for option 1 will be 600 to 700 MLD. The water demand you can take within this range. Okay, so now first we will see what this e-flow is. The e-flow is basically called as the economic flow. We will delve into this concept in a very detailed manner. Economic flow or environmental flows also it is sometimes called. So it is a system to evaluate the quantity, timing and quality of water flows for sustaining the well-being of humans and ecosystems throughout the length of a river. The idea of e-flows or environmental flows is highly relevant to India. Why? Because there are many rivers in India. India is a river dominated country, you can say. Now, within these rivers, there is an upstream and there are downstream. In the upstream, the flow rate is very high. The flow area is low. The uh, water flows through the river in a very high speed manner in the upstream area, and in the downstream area, the area of flow gradually widens, thereby reducing the speed of the water flow. Now, what happens if there are industries, the factories, and many agricultural activities, lands are also there at the side of the river bank. In the upstream, what will happen? That they will consume most of the water, and the water flow or good quality water that will be left for the use of the people at the downstream will be very low in quantity. So it should not happen. So that's why regulatory authorities actually fixes the number of the environmental flow that should be maintained in the water throughout the uh, length of the flow of the water from its source to the ocean. Okay, so that people living in the bank of the river at each and every point throughout the flow of the river can get the benefit of using the river water. And also the aquatic life, those are present inside the river, they should also not get harmed. This is the idea of the e-flow. Okay, so if there are industries or agricultural lands, those are present at the bank of the river, the water that they can use, the maximum water that they can use is fixed. They cannot use beyond a certain limit, so that the e-flow is maintained throughout the river in all seasons. It also sometimes happens that in rainy season, the water that is flowing through the river is high in quantity, but in the dry season, the quantity significantly lowers down, right? So in the dry season also, what will happen in that case, when the river water is mostly freed uh, from the rainwater, in those cases the limit also becomes dynamic in nature. So the e-flow limit in rainy season is different from the e-flow limit of the dry season. So it is fixed maybe on a quarterly basis or a monthly basis depending on the situation. All right. So now let's again see what are the problem was. So here in our problem, a minimum 50 meter cube per second of flow is supposed to be maintained as e-flow throughout the year. So here the e-flow limit is fixed as 50 meter cube per second. And if there is any additional water requirement, then groundwater can be used to fulfill that requirement. The demand of water is 500 into 10 to the power 6 liters per day, and a minimum dry weather flow is 57 meter cube per second. These are all the data that is given. So daily water withdrawal needed is 500 mld, which is equals to the demand. Dry weather flow in river is given as 57 meter cube per second. Since minimum of 50 meter cube per second flow to be maintained in the river as e-flow, the maximum water that could be withdrawn from the river is 57.5 meter cube per second. That is the dry weather flow of river. Here we are considering the minimum one because in rainy season it may get maximized, but the e-flow here they are not increasing it. So 50 meter cube per second is the e-flow that should be maintained throughout the year. And the dry weather flow in the river is something which you have to consider throughout the river for design conditions. Okay, we cannot take the excess water flow into consideration in this case as stated in the question. So the max water that could be withdrawn from the river is 57.5 minus 50 equals to 7.5 meter cube per second. Okay. Now if we convert MLD into meter cube per second, permissible withdrawal from the river will be 7.5 meter cube per second, which is nothing but equals to 7.5 into 1000 liters per second. Okay. Now if we convert liters per second into liters per day, it will be 7.5 into 1000 into 24 hours into 3600 second per hour, this many liters per day, which is nothing but equals to 648 into 10 to the power 6 liters per day. That means 648 million liters per day or 648 mld. Now, as the total requirement, that is the 500 mld, is lower than the permissible withdrawal limit 640 mld that we just have calculated, hence the additional water needed from groundwater sources will be zero, that is the nil. So this 648 mld, as it was asked in the question, we can see that it is within this range 600 to 700 ml. So it is in the acceptable range as we have calculated it, and additional water required to be sourced from the groundwater in mld, it will be zero because 640 mld is meeting the demand 500 ml. If the river water was below the demand of 500 ml, let's say if it was 448, then 52 mld you would have to collect from groundwater sources, which is not the case in this case. Hope it is clear. Now we'll proceed to our next MCQ. Recognizing water as an economic good helps in option A, reducing wasteful uses of water. Option B, ensuring economic sustainability. Option C, achieving efficient water uses. Option D is all of the above. Please type your answer in the chat box. I will wait for a couple of minutes. Today, except you, nobody joined, and you are also not answering any of these questions. Okay, so we'll proceed with the answer. So the explanation is recognizing water as an economic good will lead to adequate charges on water usage. Thus, would help in reducing wasteful usage of water, thereby achieving efficient water usage and ensuring economic sustainability. Hence, all of the above are correct answers. Okay, reducing wasteful usage of water, ensuring economic sustainability, and achieving efficient water usage all are facilitated by recognizing water as an economic good. Now, next is a column matching. In the left hand column, the options are water services resiliency, B, water services efficiency, and C, quality assurance in water services. In the right hand column, the options are water treatment for waterborne disease control, 2, minimization of water related disaster risks, and 3 is water metering for water loss control. Okay, you can keep the left hand column order as the same and tell the order of the right hand column, correct order of the right hand column. Okay, so we'll proceed with the answer. The explanation is water metering and water loss control relates to improving efficiency of water services, while water treatment for controlling waterborne diseases is for maintaining water quality. Reliability and risk minimization highlights the resiliency of water services. Hence, this is the correct order. So 231. Water services resiliency is related to the minimization of water related disaster risks. Water services efficiency is related with the water metering for water loss control, and quality assurance in water services is related with water treatment for waterborne disease control. Now, next MCQ or multiple choice question is polluter pay principle versus affordable development is a trade-off between option A ecological sustainability and financial sustainability, option B ecological sustainability versus social concern, option C financial sustainability versus economic sustainability, and option D is social concerns versus economic sustainability. Okay, so we will again proceed with the correct answers. So the explanation is polluter pay principle means that the polluter should bear the uh, expenses of pollution causing activities as decided by public authorities. This is a social concern as increase in energy price will be a greater economic burden for low income than for high income households. And so option B, that is ecological sustainability versus social concern. uh, is the trade-off we are talking about. Okay, so polluter pays principle versus affordable development. It's a trade-off between the ecological sustainability versus social concerns. That is, if we implement this now, then the economies, those are developed now, but they have burned a lots of carbons in, let's say, in the past. They will, they can escape the damages that they have caused to the earth. Okay, but the developing countries will face the problems only. So that's why it's a trade-off. But still, we cannot ignore the uh, I mean ecological problem. Those are happening because of pollutions or human activities. So that's why there should be a balance between the two. Okay. So now we'll proceed with our next column matching problem. So in the left hand column, the options are encourage water saving, prioritize allocation to uses with highest value, minimize life cycle costs of water services. And the right hand column, the options are different types of sustainabilities. Number one is financial, number two is environmental, and number three is economical. So which type of sustainability is related to which option in the left hand column? You can keep the left hand column in the same order and change the right hand options, that is 1, 2 and 3. You can tell me the correct order. So the explanation is as follows. Minimizing life cycle cost of water services helps in cost saving, thus financial sustainability. Encouraging water saving will ensure less burden on the environment, thereby helping in environmental sustainability. Uh, Whereas the prioritizing allocation to uses with highest value promotes economic sustainability. Hence, option B is related with the option 3. Option A, the encourage water saving, this one is related with environmental sustainability, that is option 2. And option C, that is minimize the life cycle cost of water services, it is related with cost saving, hence the financial sustainability, that is option 1. 2, 3, 1 is the correct order. Okay. Now, next is you have to select the biodegradable organic matters from the following. It is an MSQ or multiple select question. Option A is carbohydrates, option B methanol, option C fats, option D polyethylene, and the correct answer is carbohydrates and fats. Methanol and polyethylene are not biodegradable, these are non-biodegradable matters. And biodegradable organic matters are carbohydrates and fats. So next MCQ is a wastewater stream is mixed with a river nearby. After mixing, formation of certain zone occurs. Which one of the following zones is characterized by the highest level of treatments of pollutants? Option A is zone of degradation, option B is zone of recovery, option C zone of clear water, and option D zone of active decomposition. So there is a curve which explains from the source to the source means from the point from where the uh, pollutants is released in the water, polluted water is released after a bit amount of treatment, and where again after certain distance the water again uh, regains its natural condition. So within the river water, the amount of pollutants that is present, that can be measured with the help of DO, that is called as the dissolved oxygen. So it is basically nothing but a dissolved oxygen curve. Based on the DO curve, the length of the river water which is under the influence of pollution, that is called as the zone of pollution, it can be divided into 5 zones, that is zone A, zone B, zone C, zone D and zone E. So the zone B, zone C, and zone D is the region where natural microbes that is present in the river water, they use the dissolved oxygen in the water and they degrade the pollutants. Hence, within these three zones, we can see a low level of dissolved oxygen. First it decreases, then it's zone C, it remains at the low level for some time. Then at the zone D, again the dissolved oxygen quantity regains, and in the zone D again the natural DO concentration which was there in the water before the pollutant was released in the water, they again takes place. So basically these zone A, B, C, D, and E are all these type of zones: degradation, recovery, clear water, active decomposition. And we can see the zone of active decomposition is the lowest, the zone where the lowest DO can be observed, lowest level of dissolved oxygen can be observed. Okay, option D is the correct answer. It has the lowest level of DO and the highest level of treatment of pollutants. Okay, and the zone A, that is the clear water zone, it is kind of acclimatization zone you can consider. Okay, so in this zone, basically microbes takes some time to recognize those pollutants. After that, the degradation starts. Degradation started. Then after that, the active decomposition takes place. Uh, at the boundary of zone C and D, the decomposition almost gets finished. So again, at the zone D, the dissolved oxygen level starts to recover with the flow of the river. The oxygen, actually there is a rate. So oxygen of the air is always getting mixed with the water, and there is a limit up to which the dissolved oxygen is present within the water. Beyond that limit, the oxygen cannot be present. Okay, so it is always getting mixed, and this is the maximum DO level in the water that is present in the zone of clear water, that is zone A and zone E. But within this zone, zone B, C, and D, the rate of mixing is lower than the rate of the dissolved oxygen utilization by the bacteria. So that's why we see a decrease. At the zone C, again, it uh, becomes in a steady state. The rate of oxygen mixing with the water and the rate of oxygen that is being utilized by the microbes for the treatment of the pollutants, that is equal in these three zones: zone A, zone C, and zone E. But in zone A and E, basically they are zero. But in zone B and D, actually the rate of decomposition is more than the, or rate of DO utilization is more than the rate of DO mixing in the water. And in zone D, the rate of DO mixing with the water is more than the rate of DO that is being utilized by those bacteria. So here we can see a dip and here we can see a recovery. Okay, so you are able to understand the curve. In the next class, we will again discuss this problem and again detail out how this dip and recovery occurs. If you are not thorough with what we just told now, as the time is almost over, so we'll finish the class here and we'll meet in our next class. Till then, good night.